Hello and welcome to How to Bend Space and Time with Super Deck. Weekly tips on how to become more productive with your energy and time. In this video, I'd like to share with you the power of reviewing and planning. So that's reviewing and planning. But before I do that, I'd like to recap on last week's video, which was all about the 3 steps on how to have a more productive day. And thank you so much to those who send me private messages as well as writing messages and comments and likes on Facebook and other things. I'd just like to say thank you so much for that. And some of the feedback I got actually was, and this is one thing I'm going to touch on here today, is Declan, when it comes to my things to do, how do I prioritize them? How do I actually decide on which is the most important thing that I need to get done in a particular day? Well, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, which is going to move the needle forward the most? So when you look at your list of things to do, you need to look at, we'll talk about goal setting again in another section on productivity. But one thing you need to do is look at your goals and see, is the list of my things to do going to move me closer to my goals? And if it's a resounding no, that's when you need to either cross it off or move it forward to a day that isn't as busy, where you can actually focus on getting it done. So as you look at your list of things to do and you're looking down through the list, you need to ask yourself questions. I'm a big believer, as you saw on the Ink It and Don't Think It section, that video that I done for you a few Mondays ago, was it so important to ask yourself empowering questions. Asking yourself questions is key to having a productive day, having a productive week. Very, very important. And here's some actual questions to ask yourself as you look at your things to do. Is, when you look at your list, you go, what is it in this list? Or when you're looking at the first one, let's say, you go, when is it I'm going to actually get this done? And whatever comes into your mind straight away, if it goes, Declan, really, you're not going to get this done until next week. It's not a priority right now. Now, there's 2 voices in the mind. One voice is going, well, of course, Declan, you can do this now. And the other voice is going, Declan, you know this isn't a priority. Move it forward and don't not even think about getting it done today. Oh, Declan, of course you can do this today. We have the time. Look, you've got loads of time today to do it. No, Declan, you're not meant to do it. You've got to overcrowd that voice. That instant voice that says to you, okay, we're not meant to be doing this today. This isn't a priority. So that is something you've got to take control of yourself. Is to get away from this little, you can do it now. You don't. You've got loads of time. You can do it now. You need to try and eliminate that voice as much as you possibly can. Can you relate to this, what I'm saying here, these 2 little voices? So that's how you really can get more productive in your day when you're looking at your list of things to do, is asking yourself, when am I going to do this? Really, when am I going to do this? And then be honest with yourself. And then either do it in that day or don't do it, or move it forward, or eliminate it, cross it off. So hopefully that helps you in regards to the question that I was asked by 3 or 4 different people, actually, that question. So hopefully that helps you. So in regards to planning and reviewing, I do the same thing actually by asking myself questions. When I'm planning, that's what I do. I ask myself, when I'm looking at all my things to do, or I'm planning for my day or my week or my month or my next 90 days, I'm always asking myself, when am I actually going to do this? And then I look forward at my calendar and I see when I'm going to do it, and I write it into the day I'm going to do it. So I don't need to actually be processing it up here in my mind anymore. When am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? Or, Declan, you've got me back here. We got to do this. And you're going, oh, what am I going to do? You've got to take control of your list. You've got to take control of your list rather than your list taking control of you. So asking yourself those questions, when am I going to do this? Plan it, move it forward, and then leave it in the day you're going to do it. Now, last Monday I spoke about, I always review the night before what I'm going to do the next day. For me, I love to do that for one simple reason. it frees up my mind so I can have a better sleep. But also whilst I'm sleeping, there's actually studies out there on this, that when you're sleeping, whatever it is that you've got in your mind, let's say, or you've watched even, let's say, or you've written down, or you've been thinking about, or whatever it might be before you go to sleep, your subconscious mind is working on it as you're asleep. So as you're sleeping, whatever it is that you've been looking at or reviewing or writing or whatever it might be, your subconscious mind is working on it. I find this works incredibly well the next day for me. I always see my day just goes a lot more smoothly for me when I plan it the night before. So what I'll do is I'll look at my firstly what I do is, in my day, what did I do? What did I complete? What did I achieve in that day? And I always look at my list of things to do in my section, and I mark off what I done. Now, if there's something in there that I didn't do, I look at it and I ask myself, when am I going to do it? So Declan, when am I going to actually do this? And I move it forward to the day I'm actually going to do it. I never leave it behind. Because if I'm leaving it behind, I'm also leaving it behind here. And I'm thinking about it. So what I do is, I look at it. If I didn't complete it, I didn't do it, I go, when am I going to actually do it? And then I move it forward to the day that I'm going to do it. Or I just cross it off and I tick it as completed. That's a very powerful thing to do when you actually, at the end of the day, you tick off your list. And it gives you just this feeling of, yes, of achievement. I've done something. I've got this completed today. So planning the night before, I always look at the day I'm in. Let's say, like today's Monday. So what I do is, I look at, let's say it's tonight. Tonight now, I'm going to look at my list. I'm going to look at, here I have this list again. My list of things to do. And then I look at my calls, texts, emails, and I look at this list and I go through my list and I see what I've done and I tick off the box what I've done. And then I look at what haven't I done and I ask myself, when am I going to do this? And then I move it forward to the day I'm going to do it. Now if I'm not going to do it, I just cross it off and that's it, completed. I go down to my calls, texts, emails, social media, and I look at my list. And I do the same thing. I cross off who I've called. Anyone who I haven't called, I ask myself, when am I going to call them? And I move it forward to the day I'm going to make the call. Sometimes what happens is, it ends up being moved forward a week or 2 weeks because really it's not a priority tomorrow. It's not a priority this week. But in my mind it might have been a priority in that day, but when I review it, it isn't a priority. So I move it forward or I cross it off. Then what I do is, I look at my day and I see, did I have a productive day? Now, we all get days where something comes in and it completely derails your day. Have you ever had a day like that where it's like, you've all these things, you've got a great day planned out and all of a sudden something comes in, derails the whole thing, and it's like, oh my God, I got nothing done here today. When that happens to me, and it does, when that happens to me, I always sit down here and I look. I go through my 3-step process. And I just ask myself, okay, today was completely derailed. It happens. What can I do to rectify this? See, I'm asking these empowering questions to myself. I'm not going, oh my God, the day is gone. And I just, at night, then just freaking out, just giving out to myself. I don't do that. I used to do that and it just wasn't working. So what I do is, when am I going to actually do what I was meant to do today? And then I move it forward to the day I'm going to do it. That's why I just love this system. It's so simple. It's so effective. But yet, it just shows me for myself what it is that's going on. And I always just look at it as 3 things I need to focus on. Rather than a whole list of stuff. I go to my list of things to do, my calls, texts, emails, social media, and how did I get on in that day. So then before I go to bed, I go to my next day and I look at what my things to do are. I look at my calls, texts, social media, all that sort of stuff. And then I block my time when I'm actually going to do it. So that's my planning and my reviewing. So I always plan what's going on and I'm reviewing what's going on. So I review what happened in my day. I ask myself the questions, when am I going to do my next tasks? and then I plan my following day and I block my time. So I put into time blocks. So it's very important to block your time, what time you're going to do what at whatever it is that you need to do. So I hope this video helped you, and if you feel that this is of any value to anybody that you know, please make sure to share it. And thank you so much for your comments, and if you have any comments, make sure to comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear back from you. And if you have any other questions that you would like to share with me privately, make sure to send me a message. I'd be glad to get back to you. So thanks again for watching this week's video on how to bin space and time with Super Deck. We'll see you next week. All the best.